All right, we are live, my brother. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patah Muntu Nefer Amon Ra, aka DMG. And we got a very special guest today, a man who I've been following for a while, listening to some of his knowledge, hearing some of his discussions and debates. So this is a huge honor. He's been on here before, but I'm going to have him introduce himself in just a second. Y'all know I got to do my usual spiel. And so I want to say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. And I want to say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earths, them 5%ers. I also want to say Jambo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States or beyond. I want to say Jambo to my brothers and sisters on the continent. And of course, I want to say we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. We can have unity without uniformity. And our different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. And with that, my brother, please reintroduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Nefer Hotep to the family. My name is Black Lion Supreme, member of the Dagger Squad, raised in Oakland, California. This is a great honor to be interviewed by our brother. He is he's a very well read, very well spoken individual who's about our people, and this is a blessing to be on this platform and to be interviewed by him. So I'm just waiting to get started and get it going, and I hope everybody is anticipating a good conversation.
That'll work. That'll work. And with that, bro, first thing I wanted to ask you, because like I said, I came into you probably like how everybody else did, with the Dagger Squad and some of the conversations you was having, and I was like, man, who is this brother? I gotta get more in tune with this. And so just seeing the energy and the vigor you was coming with regards to defending the position of our people, because we get people that be talking reckless, and to me, some of our people
No
keep
doubt.
their head stuck up the oppressor ass, and I'm just gonna speak
No
plainly.
doubt. No
It's
doubt.
our fault when the police mess with us. We should follow Christianity because of this, and we should just these different things. And I always admired how you stood strong on positions that were pro us.
I
So,
appreciate it.
did you grow up in the Abrahamic faiths, be it Christian or Muslim, or were you always into Black consciousness?
I definitely grew up in the church. I grew up a Christian. I can't even remember. Probably my first memory is the church. So I definitely was a big part of the community, and as a matter of fact, once my family kind of wavered off from the church, I was one of the main ones in the family, in my immediate family, who kept in the church. So at around 12 to 13 years old, I was going to church like three days out of the week,
Okay.
from Thursday to Friday all the way to Sunday.
Wow.
So yes, I have a huge Christian background.
Okay. Yeah. That typical Christian family from the great granddad, grandfather, mother, father, aunts, uncles type of
Exactly.
deal. Gotcha.
Exactly. Groomed at an early age. Exactly.
Yeah. So with that being said, I always categorize it like this. I say you have Christians proper, like those who believe no matter what, they don't care what kind of information you give them, what you say to them, how you posit it. They just believe. They ain't trying to reason with you. They ain't trying to hear anything logical. They believe no matter what. And then you
Facts.
have,
And I come from that mindset. Exactly. Yes.
yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Then you have, I said
Oh
two, I should
yes,
say
no doubt.
three. Then you have the apologists who are more so looking to rationalize their belief, right? And so they look to
Facts.
biblical scholars. They look to whether the scholar believe or not, because it always killed me when Christians look to Bart Ehrman when he agree with them, but then when he don't, they don't want to use them. but you have those apologists who come from a more logical, scholarly approach, and then you have the believer who really ain't trying to live that quote unquote Christian lifestyle, but they believe. And I use that example, like my friend, he'd argue with me about the Christian God all day, but he got 11 women coming in and out of his house, even though he married to a different sister. And he, like, you got all this anti-Christian stuff going on, but you arguing with me about the Christian God. So you have the believers, the apologists, and then the Christians proper, as I like to call them. But and as you
Yeah,
said,
you know,
go ahead, my bad.
they've had some good teachers like Abraham, like David, like their key patriarchal figures have all fallen short. You know, that's the narrative of the Bible. None of these people are perfect. Look at Samson's history. Look at Noah getting drunk. You know, it goes on and on with their characters. So to them, it's okay as long as they are can be forgiven before they die. Pretty much, they can pretty much do anything because it's sin that directs them to do so. Even though the Bible is clear that once you're saved, you're not going to wallow in sin. You're still going to
Exactly.
sin, but you're not going to just wallow in it. And this is what a lot of these Christian people call themselves Christians do, because they actually believe they can work their way into heaven. They actually believe it's something about them that has to get them in, and not a gift from God, like the Bible says. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And so with you growing up in that type of environment, how did you get into consciousness or come into consciousness, I should say?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. As a young kid, I was always asking questions that got me in trouble. Like, if how did a war start in heaven if heaven was perfect, and other
Mm,
questions that would get me put out of the church, put out of the church. So I always had a question about it, but I was into blind faith, like a lot of these people are today. And I pushed those questions to the side so I wouldn't get in trouble with the pastors. And I just started to study and study and study. And one day, I think it was in the early '80s. I think it was a Wu Tang, not Wu Tang. Uh, try what the X Clan song I heard about Kemet, and I was
okay.
like, wow, what is this Kemet? What is that? What are they talking about? And he had the Unk on, and
Hmm.
Brother Jay was, he had his
Yeah,
Egyptian gear on, and I was like, wow, what are they trying to say? Kemet was black or had black people? But that
exactly.
that sparked my interest, and so I started to study. I went to the library. I think the next couple of days I went to the library, and I started to read certain books and look up certain information. And once I did that, once I started to look up information, and it wasn't the connection that you see today, like the parallels that they bring up today. What really got me to turn around was the fact that God, the God of the Bible, had things that you could compare to other deities. That blew my mind,
Hmm.
because to me, I always knew that God, the God of the Bible, should not compare to any pagan deities. I shouldn't be able to find any stories of the Bible in paganism.
At
And
all.
once that happened, then I knew something was up. And so I started to do more studying. Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, it was similar with me, except for unfortunately I was much older. But it was the same thing. Like, wait a minute. Now I always
Well, I
surmised
don't know if
that.
it's my connection. You're breaking up on my end. I can't hear you. Is it
Can
my
you hear me
connection? It might
now?
be my connection.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Uh,
Still
It's a
nothing.
little better. Yeah, it's almost like you're underwater.
Oh
Is it?
man.
Is it my connection? Now I can hear
I'm
you.
not,
Now you did when you said, "Oh man," I can hear you.
okay. It might have been where my microphone was. There's no telling. Um, but yeah, I always surmised that the people of Kemet, or as I said then, Egypt was black because of where it was. And
Oh, you're
so it
breaking up
just
again, my brother. You're breaking up again. Let me try something on my end. Maybe it's my end. Let me see if it's
okay.
on my end.
Okay. Let me see in the chat.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, I can hear you.
You went out a little bit. You there? Can you hear me? Okay, they say they can hear us in the chat, so it might be our connection. That's an issue. Let me check on something over here. See what we got going. All right, I'm connected up, so yeah, bro. I'm not sure. You there, BLS? Look like our brother having some connection issues. We're gonna get right back to it as soon as he come in. You say that's Yahweh. Scripture Ripper in the building. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, Yahweh don't want to. He don't like us talking about him, huh?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, it was Yahweh.
Right. Savio.
Shout out to Scripture Rippers. Shout out to my brother, Scripture
Shout
Rippers.
out.
What's up, bro?
Everybody go subscribe to my brother channel, please. Support,
Yes,
support,
indeed.
support. That's the best researcher in the game outside of Dr. Reggie. Straight facts. When I real quick, I just want to shout my brother out. When I was getting ready for that debate with Cap, my brother hit me with like 12 files. You hear me? I was like, man, I can't even use all these. I'm talking about all of them was scholarly. All of them was sourced up. You hear me? So can't nobody
Yeah,
tell me nothing
yeah.
about Savio. You hear me?
There's a lion over there, boy, and the man is he's a intense researcher, no doubt about it.
Yeah, people get in their feelings about how aggressive he is, but that's just I call that passion.
That's
Can't
just a
nobody tell me
lion,
nothing
and
about little
I'm
bro.
trying to show him how to subdue the lion, and
Yeah,
just put out the information. But I'm learning myself, so we both learning that as we go along.
there it is, and that's
Yeah,
all we can do. As long as we willing to learn, we'll be all right.
yeah, we're gonna be
But
all right. It's gonna work out fine.
yeah, we was talking about, or I was mentioning how I always surmised that the people of Kemet, or as like I said back then, Egypt, were black. It was
Hmm.
just I couldn't uh, I couldn't rationalize how these people that I'm looking at, the Bill Goldbergs and the Jerry Seinfelds were those same people in that same region, and Moses got mixed up as one of them. And of course, that's according to the narrative, but that was always
Yes,
in the back of my mind, even as a Christian. And so, of course, when I came into consciousness, things started becoming clearer. But once you start doing that research, how was the transition away from being a Christian to becoming conscious?
it was extremely difficult, my brother. Extremely difficult. My whole family had been telling me that this was the word of God. My mother, my father, my grandparents. They were teaching me this. I grew up in the church. I was a student of one of the most popular Bible teachers in the Bay Area at the time. So I was constantly always studying the Bible. And like I said, I suppressed a lot of things that I knew. Even once I found out some things, I suppressed it and said, no, it couldn't be. And it took a long time, a long time, bro, like months and months and months of studying and contemplating and questioning myself and questioning the information, for me to finally come to the conclusion that this was all make believe. And it hurt me to the core. It hurt me to the core that I had that it wasn't true, because this is what I believed, and this is what came from my precious mother and my father and grandparents. So it took a lot out of me. It really did. It took a lot for me to get to where I am today. But once I was comfortable with what I found out, once I was convinced that the information was pointing towards what I was thinking at that time and what I know now, I've been fine with it. My life has been so much improved, so much better than it was than when I was a Christian. I have far more respect and love for my people today than I did then. I have far more respect for women than I did then. So it made me a better person, and it actually got me into academics. Before then, I was running the streets, acting a fool like everybody else, trying to get paid, trying to get money in my pocket, living that wild life. Once I came into academia and really started to study, it took me into other areas of scholarship, and it improved my mind and made me a critical thinker. So at the end of the day, it was a blessing.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because it's and I'm gonna have let Sabio or yourself interview me over on his channel and tell
No doubt.
my story, because it's similar. It's very similar to yours with regards to even like my family reaction. Like they getting used to it now. But and I tell people this, my wife is still a Christian, and my wife was raised like
Oh
you
man.
were. Yeah, she was
Oh
raised
wow.
like you were. Her
That's
great
deep. Yeah.
grandfather,
Okay.
and this is a traditional thing with her. Her great grandfather, her grandmother, her mother, all her aunts and uncles, all of them. Like they made when I
Wow.
started going to church with her in the 11th grade, her church was 65 to 75% of the church. Now is even higher. And her uncle was the assistant pastor. He married us, and now he's the pastor. So you can imagine the strife in my home, because I got married at 20 years old. I'll be 45 next month. And you can imagine the strife in my home, never mind from family members outside of my home, when I made that transition from being a believer in Christianity to going into consciousness. So yeah, I'm gonna have to tell that story in full to my
No
mother
doubt.
these
No
days.
doubt. Want to hear that?
Yeah, and so I definitely feel you on that. I know you said many times that you consider my brother Shaka Amos, who I admire a great deal.
Yes, sir.
We might, and he has said he respects and admires Jabari. I know they had some amenities, but I always say
Yes.
that I'm kind of like for lack of a better term, no homo. If I ain't gonna even say what I was about to say. I was about to say if Jabari and Shaka had a kid, it'd be me. But I'm just gonna say if somebody split Shaka and Jabari in half, it'll be me. How about that? So people
Facts.
don't
Facts. Facts.
misconstrue what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You got. Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know,
understand you, brother. I get you.
yeah,
Yeah. No
you
doubt about
gotta
it. I
you
feel the
gotta
same way.
preface your
Yeah.
statement.
I feel the same way. So yeah, I got
But
you.
I know you said that you consider him one of your master teachers. Go into
No
how you
doubt.
came into his information.
Well, the very first person I ever heard in this community was actually SETI. SETI was the very first person I
Okay.
ever heard talking about Kemet. And I admired him so much I named my pit after him. That's how much I was into SETI's teachings. And then I didn't know anything about Sonetta TV. All I knew was SETI. I just ran across SETI's page one day just by accident. I wasn't even looking for anything on of the community, anything. I didn't know anything about it. I just happened to see something about his video, and from there I saw Sonetta TV and said, then I was like, wow, okay. And at that particular time, I was still on the fence. It was like about 7, 8 years ago, and I was still on the fence about, man, is Christianity, is the Bible true? Is it what? I still was on the fence, and then I seen Shaka, and Shaka was like a godsend. Pardon my pun. But he was like a godsend because he was exactly what I needed as a teacher. I came up playing sports. I came up playing football, basketball, boxing, rough stuff. So I needed a teacher with his attitude. I needed somebody to grab me by the collar and say, "Look, boy, wake up, get smart, start studying, get your mind right." I needed that really bad. And
Gotcha.
he was able to provide that. His style in teaching provided that. And I could never repay him for opening up my eyes to real, true scholarship, opening up my eyes to the protocol of fact checking. Him and him and Dr. Ma'at were really essential in my development. They were really key figures in my development as a critical thinker and as a truth seeker. So I owe him a debt that I could never repay.
Yeah. I feel you because his spirit and aggressiveness was one thing because you as a black man you always had that in your mind, but then his information that's what got me because it's one thing
Yeah,
to have that aggressiveness, but if you ain't talking about nothing, then so what? But then
exactly. And it made me feel like I could do it myself. It made me feel more
exactly
comfortable. I was like, okay, this dude sounds a lot like me. We from the hood. We don't go for that soft talk stuff. Some
there you
people get
go.
offended by that. Yeah, some people get offended, but that's what I need. I come out of that. My mom is like that. So I needed that kind of guidance from someone who I felt like I could trust, someone that came from the same background as I did. And so, not saying that's necessary because you can learn from anybody as long as they're giving you the facts. But for me, at that particular time in my life, I needed that rough, slap me upside the head, boy, wake up type
There
of
you
teaching,
go.
and that's
Yeah,
what he gave me.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, like his slides and his PowerPoints. That's where I kind of got my zeal for my presentations, kind of from him, because it was like, man, his it was flawless. Like regardless if you agree with the information, you couldn't say the brother presentations wasn't flawless. So yeah, that
Exactly.
that, that was my dude. And then
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right because it's not like he wasn't saying anything. This man was bringing you PhD scholarship. You know what I mean? I'm sitting and watching his presentations. I'm thinking I'm gonna see, just a regular. No, this dude is bringing out, yeah, and he's like, and dumbass, and you should, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay, I got it, yeah, okay, I can work with this. And so I studied him a lot, bro. I studied him. I looked at all his presentations. I looked at all the videos I could find on him. Uh, Same thing with Dr. Maat. She helped me really with research methodology. She showed me the importance of that criteria. So you know, but Shaka, yeah, Shaka and brother Reggie, they are
yeah,
my key teachers that
yeah,
brought
man.
me really out of all the way out where I could really flourish and say, okay, you know, this is all make believe. Now I can really start to study on real academia.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
And real quick, uh, I just gave Scripture Ripper the best researcher in the business outside of Dr. Reggie. You got a wrench, my friend, so do your thing.
All right, my
With
boy.
regards to what my man was saying about Dr. Reggie, Shaka. And then later on, like I say, when Jabari came on the scene, it was like, okay, these some brothers who I can actually learn from, as
Hmm.
opposed to, and I got so much respect for Dr. Reggie, because for those who don't know, the Black City plan, Google it. He
Yes,
giving it
sir.
away for free. Like, if you
Hmm.
want to talk about black liberation and how we get from under the yoke of an oppressor, go read the Black City plan. Like,
No doubt.
all bullshit aside, I don't care what your spiritual ideology is, what you believe and what you don't believe. Go get the Black City plan and read it,
No
because
doubt.
that's how you get from under somebody's yoke. Not by talking shit, not by saying what you gonna do, what you ain't gonna do. That's how you do it. That's a straight up strategy for getting up from up under your oppressor. Like, I got
Thanks.
so much respect for that brother.
I actually had his city plan put on the mayor's desk here in Oakland. I actually got it to
Okay.
him because I knew one of her assistants, and I was able to get it to him, and he actually gave it to her and put it on her desk. Now, what she did with it is one thing, but I did get it put on that desk. So you're absolutely correct. He is bro. I mean, I've never seen a guy that can research like Brother Reggie. He just be on it. I mean, the things
Yeah.
I just talked to him yesterday. The things that he can show you, he can show you things that we haven't even seen in public yet. That's how deep this brother is.
Right.
That's how bad he is, man. When it comes to research, he is
Right.
just an excellent researcher, and I couldn't be more proud or thankful to call him my brother. Go ahead.
And I want to add this, because I don't want my brother Black Lion to shortchange himself. Now, I'm watching a show on Sinetta channel. As I tell people all the time, I'm a Sinetta mark. You start talking crazy about Sinetta, I get upset, because you might as well start talking bad about Michael Jordan, because
real
that's my man. I'm just like,
real talk.
we wouldn't be on here right now on Paradigm Shift TV 314 if it wouldn't for me coming across Sinetta channel. That's a fact.
No doubt. And there wouldn't be no
So
Black Lion Supreme without Sarnetta TV.
I'm
Go
I'm a,
ahead.
I'm a I'm a Sinetta stan, and I'm proud of it. So feel however you want to about that. But I'm looking at his show the other day, and Reggie on there, he gets a text. He thought it was Baba James Small. That's how good the information he got was. Turns out it was our brother Black Lion Supreme. Now, I'm not saying my brother Black Lion Supreme is on the level of Professor James Smalls. What I am saying is the information he sent Dr. Reggie was so good that Dr. Reggie thought initially that it came from Baba Smalls. So
Yeah,
my
we was
brother
laughing
ain't
about
half stepping
that.
when it comes to information. I just want to put that out
Yeah. He was laughing. He told me that. He was like, bro, I thought this came from Brother Smalls. I was like, no, it's just little on me. Just having my brother's back.
Yeah. When he first said it, I was like, "Oh, okay." Baba Small sent him something, and then he later on he corrected himself and said it was Black Lion Supreme. I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's
Yeah,
facts. Yeah, yep.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
watching that live. I say, "Damn, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up."
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
can't wait to see you and Sabio do y'all thing on as I call it, the big stage.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's coming soon. So yeah, I'm just trying to, and like the reason why I got into all of this was it's just my way of giving back. When Eric Gardner got choked to death, I started me and a Hebrew Israelite, as a matter of fact, we started an organization called the Black Lions, the 4 Point Nation Black Lions, and
Wow.
we were actually getting people. We had Christians, we had Muslims, we had uh, atheists, we had Hebrew Israelites, all type of people that joined our organization. And just in the midst of that, a political uproar happened in the Bay Area, and we actually were involved in a lot of things that I can't really speak on the
No
air
doubt.
about.
No doubt.
Yeah, so I was in that mode at that particular time. That's the mode I was in, a very militant mode, and I was really ready to put my life on the line for it. I did put my life on the line for it because I had enough after that man got choked to death and was begging for to breathe. That
Yeah.
just did something to me, and so they came after us and tried to really shut us down. They got my boy, the other founder of the organization. They locked him up, and just a whole lot of things happened. So we had to go more underground than anything. But
Okay.
I came into because when I first came in, like I said, through watching SETI and Sonetta, I had really thought that there was no movement. I didn't know that people were still talking and talking about our people and our history. I had no idea. So when I ran into them, I was like, oh man, we still banging out here. We still putting in work. I didn't know we were still putting in work like this.
Yeah.
And it just got me more fired up and started to really reach out to people. And then me and that brother from the Hebrew Israelites, we met, and that happened with Eric. And ever since then, we were banging hard. We were doing a lot of good things, but we were doing some things that we shouldn't have been doing. Put it that way.
Right.
And
Right.
so
Right. Some
now I
what
decided,
they call necessary bad moves, so to speak.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. But after that went that way, I said, the way I can repay my people from being in the streets, from doing the street things that people do, from living that lifestyle, the best way I can repay my people is to inform them of the truth. So that's all I'm here to do. I'm not here for any accolades or any rewards or anything like that. You're never going to see me drop, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I think people should be compensated for their work. I have no problem with that. But for me, I'm paying back a debt. So I'm not looking for any cash app drops or anything like that, any kind of rewards. I'm just trying to give back to my people and give them the information that's necessary for them to have to become critical thinkers. Because I believe that is the key. That's one of the keys to our salvation as a people, is to become critical thinkers.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
disagree with me or not, at least you're thinking. That's all I want you to do. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And just for those who might be feeling generous, $ DMG the poet. That's $ DMG DAPOET. Because I
No
do
doubt.
take donations because we trying to grow this channel. I got 300 some odd subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000. So help your brother
No
out.
doubt, and you deserve every bit of it. You're putting in a lot of work, and I know how much hours and studying that takes to do. You have set up a platform, a very informative one. So you deserve every donation that you can get, and you're not trying to do what I'm trying to do. So you are more than welcome to receive anything and everything that's going to help build this channel, and including from me, I'm going to support this channel. So
I
I
definitely
encourage everyone
appreciate it,
that
brother.
can to do the same.
And that's the thing, like real talk. You, Sabio, my brother and co-host, nobody who's a Christian, have went out of y'all way, like literally bent over backwards. If I ask, y'all come on. And I can't find that from other people. Like you almost got to jump through hoops to get people to come on. And it's like, look, I'm trying to give every black person a platform. Like if you black, when I say if you black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. I mean that. Not I don't care if you agree with me. You ain't gotta agree with me. All you gotta be is black like me, and this the
Exactly. That's
platform
it.
for you.
That's
So
it.
and
And
we can
because you are a brother, of course I'm going to support you always. I'm
no
always
doubt
going to support any black person who wants my support. Jeremiah Judah, who I don't agree with on anything.
exactly.
I don't agree with him on nothing, bro. I mean, nothing. He asked me to come
Exactly.
on this platform. I went on this platform. He asked
There
me
it
to do a
is.
debate on this platform. I went there. He asked me
There
to come
it
on
is.
there and be a judge. I'm going to do so. Even though I think he is pseudo as hell and that his platform is pseudo, I'm still going to support my brother because he is a black man. And
That's
that's
it.
so you're
That's
absolutely
it.
right. Yep.
See, and I submit this, and I know you agree with me. Like when you say you pro black, you can't be pro black when people are just when people agree with you. You got to be pro black,
Exactly.
period. Because everybody's not gonna
Exactly.
have the same ideology as you. So
Exactly.
I
At the
get
end of
I
the
get
day, go ahead. Go ahead.
nah, I was just gonna say I get inboxes all the time. Why you have so many Christians on your channel? Because they willing to come on. That
Mm-hmm.
don't mean I agree with them, but they black. And
Exactly.
so why you had that white boy vocab on? First of all, I knew it was gonna get views, and second of all, if I can talk about him, I can talk to him. I'm a man, so I can say whatever I got
Mm-hmm.
to say to him, white, black, or blue, to his face,
Exactly.
and I did that.
Exactly.
But go ahead,
Exactly.
bro. I didn't mean to
It's
interrupt you.
like we come like I said, we come from a rough background. I don't remember turning any challenges down because they of the color of somebody's skin. If
Facts.
anything, especially if it was somebody white, it just made me more encouraged to get involved.
Exactly. Right.
So this is the same type of arena. This is the arena of academia. You're gonna find people from all type of backgrounds, races, colors, and creeds and beliefs. This is the audience and this is the challenge that you're gonna run across. So you can't be afraid to step up to anybody, and you should have anybody on your platform that's gonna boost up your platform. There's
Real talk.
nothing wrong with that,
And real
nothing at
talk.
all.
Before we move on to the next question, this the other thing about that people don't like to acknowledge. Vocab is a way bigger YouTuber than me in terms of subscribers and support. He could have
Hmm.
responded to what I said about him on his platform and never had me on, never talked to me. He chose to come
Hmm.
on my platform, which helped me.
Yep.
So we got to be able to be sophisticated in our thinking and know when we have a potential. I ain't saying he is or he ain't. I said potential. So I want to be clear, a potential ally to not necessarily our people or our cause, but to our particular mission at the time, a potential ally versus an enemy. And so
No
we
doubt.
we can be sophisticated in our thinking and not just because he helped me out on my channel don't mean, man, oh well, he definitely for black people or he definitely not for black people. I don't have to make that assessment based on the fact that I know for a fact he helped me out with my views every time he came on this channel when he could have did it a different way.
No doubt. And vocab is gonna go where the action is. I have to say that about him. He's going to go and challenge what's being said about him, or challenge if you disagree with him. I've seen him go on many other platforms and do exactly what he did here. So you're absolutely right, and that's a good thing. That's what we should do. We should feel free to go and express our uh, position anywhere and at any time. That's how I feel about it. So I'm
Yeah,
not running from nobody and nobody's platform. It could be 1,000 Christians. I will be there if I'm asked to be there. I will be there.
there it is. And hey, yeah, I'm trying to get Dr. Vince Bantu in November, late October,
Wow,
early November, because we both from
wow.
St. Louis. So I've been reaching out to the brother. We friends on Facebook. We're gonna see what happens, but I'm definitely trying to get Dr. Vince Bantu. And I don't know. We may do it like I did with BK, where he don't take questions, or excuse me, or we may just do it to where he take a few questions. But either way it go, I ain't gonna let nobody come on and disrespect nobody. So we're gonna do it orderly and with respect. But I'm definitely trying to get the brother. So I'm gonna keep everybody posted because I definitely want you in the building to ask them questions if you're taking them. So
Oh man, that'll be epic. I can't wait for that. With respect, I would gladly I do have a few questions for him. That's for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. With that said, so with Shaka and his influence and the research he do, the research Dr. Reggie do, how did that sort of influence you with regards to your own research, and what conclusions did you come to about Kemet, about Kemetic spirituality and African spirituality, or concepts overall?
Well, at first, I was just listening to the information that was being presented by my teachers or whatever, and I was going with the flow on what they were saying about Kemet and you know, African spirit, so-called African spirituality. But once I started to dig in a lot deeper on my own, doing my own personal research, and this is what they taught me. They always said, "Don't take my word for it. Do your own research." So that's exactly what I started to do. And really, what to me, what they were saying was, get the information and then form your own opinions or form your own conclusions on based on what you have found out. And so as I started to look at Kemet myself, and I've asked Shaka this directly, as I started to look into Kemet, I didn't see this God concept a lot of other people saw. What I saw was a people who were using deities to express the different aspects of nature. So when I started to look at Shu, Shu was the wind. When I looked at Geb, and Geb represents the earth. When I look at the goddess Nut, and she represents the sky, I saw science. I didn't see spirituality. So what I did also is I started to look into other cultures in Africa, other deities, the Yoruba tribe and the Nok tribe and uh, the other Africans, Wolof mythology, and so on and so forth. And what I started to see was that they were also their deities, and from what I see, their deities also was pointing at the natural and not the supernatural. So I looked into African spirituality deeply, and again, I saw something different. I saw that when you talk about and think about African spirituality, what you're really talking about is the memories of our ancestors being displayed through us. So when I had a grandmother, she always used to get on me about doing my studies and being the type of man that can provide for his woman and his children and things like that. And to this day, if I'm veering off, if I'm having a bad day, I can still hear my grandmother speaking to me. So to me, that's African spirituality. The memories of what my grandmother used to say to me, the memories of what the ancestors said to us through their writings, through their history, the memories of the ones that we have lost, that is the very essence of African spirituality. I don't see anything outside of nature when it comes to Africa. What I see is science and what we call spirituality still being a part of nature, because it's nothing but your memories of those who came before you and left before you did. So that's African spirituality to me.
And that's heavy, because I'm gonna tell you. See, for me, it's always like I don't deal with like the supernatural per se. Now, I would submit that it makes the idea of a creator makes sense to me, because I have a hard time believing any of this happened by osmosis. But outside of the fact that I don't think any of this should happen by osmosis, anything more than that, where you trying to tell me it was this deity who he created us, and he created a man and a woman, and he took her from his rib, and this and that, all of that, you getting real spooky with me. And so
Exactly.
My teacher, and I call him my master teacher, and I feel like he should be up there with the great master teachers, Baba Saba, Maurice Neferu, of the Temple of Het
Mm-hmm.
Heru here in St. Louis. He
Wow.
always said, the first day I met him, he said, there is only one being in existence, and that is Inter or Netter.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that's an anagram for nature. And
Mm-hmm.
as we know,
Exactly.
in ancient Kemet, they believe that our moon rose from the primordial waters of noon and
Right.
expanded himself or itself, whatever, however you want to term it,
No
to
doubt.
in an effort to what get to know itself. So everything in existence is an extension or expression of that one divine being, if you want to call it that, right? And so while I understand from the mythological sense what they were saying, it's like they basically describing how nature behaves. Because like you said, Shu is how that particular element of creation or nature behaves. Geb is how that particular element of nature behaves. Tefnu, and we can go on and on and on. Even if we talk about Haru and Sutek with our higher consciousness and our lower
Mm-hmm.
consciousness, it's still our nature. So it's
Right.
just describing how nature behaves as opposed to getting spooky. And so that's how I look at it. Same thing with you said, like you said with the ancestors. I don't worship my ancestors. I honor my ancestors. And the way I do that is
Exactly.
recognizing my grandmother died in 2017 and she raised me. Mom and daddy couldn't be bothered, but she could. And so
Mm-hmm.
everything she put into me, that transfers to my children and my grandchildren. That's me honoring her. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of my grandmother in my granddaughter. That ain't spooky. That's because of what's up here being transferred to her. It ain't
Boom.
spooky, it's science. And
There it
so
is.
people want to make it spooky. You worship your ancestors. No, I'm not worshiping nobody. I'm just simply applying what was applied to me to them. And it expresses itself because I put it in their consciousness and it comes out physically or
Mm-hmm.
mentally. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's not spooky, but everybody want to spookify shit. That messes me up. But
Real talk. Because why do they do this? It's because the Egyptologists told them it was spooky. So they looked at Kemet with European eyes and religious eyes, and they admit it. If you talk to people like Wujawu and Sean, you they will tell you that these people admitted that they looked at Kemet through a religious mindset. So when you see someone calling a himnecher a priest, which you can't find no African ever calling a himnecher a priest, when you
shots
look at
fired. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, when you look at these people evaluating the festivals and the rituals of Kemet and applying their dogma to it, you have to question that and you have to look deeper into Kemet yourself and think of, and look at it through African eyes and an African mindset, and then Kemet will open up to you. But as long as you're coming at Kemet as like a Christian, this is where you see these mistakes coming from. These Christians and Hebrew Israelites who have this dogma mindset trying to evaluate Kemet. It doesn't work. You have to just empty your mind and look at Kemet for what it is and study the culture, not just the aspects of the culture. Oh, they had neters. Oh, they had this and they had that. No, don't. That's not how you approach it. You blank. You come in there with a blank mindset. You look at the information for what it is, and you think like an African. And then the whole range of Kemet will open up to you, and that's how we have to. That's how we have to approach it. You can't approach it with a dogmatic attitude, and that's the problem with a lot of these people. They want to see something like Yahweh. They want to see something like Muhammad or something like that
Right.
coming out of Cuban, and it's just not there. And one
Yeah.
thing you said, which is key, and that is, uh, you said you don't you don't necessarily worship. Well, you do worship, and so do I, because there's more than one definition to the word worship.
Say that.
The
Go
second
ahead.
definition to the word worship is admiration, high admiration, like a child who worship his mother. He doesn't pray to his mother or think of his mother as a god. He has high admiration for his mother, and that's what you have. You have high admiration for your culture. You have high admiration for your family and your people. And that is a form of worship. It's just not a spooky
There
form
you go.
that you
There
find
you
in
go.
religion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it
And
is.
see that, and that's heavy because again, and even I would be like, I would normally I would bite, I would draw back against that, but the way you broke it down, it make perfect sense. And that we have to be reasonable when it comes to common sense. To me, I don't even have to go into no oversimplified explanation of what you just said, because as soon as you start saying it, I got it. So, and that's what it is. I think that we are so accustomed to the Abrahamic faiths because of how it was imprinted onto us for various reasons. I'm not naive enough to think some people didn't choose it on the continent. I'm sure some people did. I'm 100% sure some people did. I
No
know
doubt.
so some people had it forced on them. And so either way it go, we've had this thing superimposed over our culture for hundreds of years. And so it becomes a generational thing where even when I hear people say dua nater, and it's like basically you saying thank God, because that's something that you picked up from the Abrahamic faiths to
Mm,
traditionally say thank God. I
facts.
get it, but I don't agree with it, because why are we trying to basically clone ourselves after this tradition? We don't have, like, to me, it's an insult to compare Jesus to Haru or Asar. Jesus was a carpenter. Asar was a king. Haru was
Facts.
a warrior king. And we
Facts.
comparing him to them. That's an insult. Like, I ain't got to compare them. It ain't even it's an insult to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't, like, what are we talking about? I'm not saying that it's not wisdom in the Bible. I'm just saying if we talking about these personalities, it ain't no comparison. Jesus would have worked for Asar. He would have been building Asar tomb. He would have been building Haru tomb. You dig? Like,
Facts.
what are we talking about? So I'm gonna go to my next question, bro.
I want to touch on one thing, other thing you
Go ahead.
said. And
Go ahead.
that was about a God, that this place couldn't have happened by accident. That something had, or it's hard to believe that it just happened by accident. And
Go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. But what we know for 100%, with not a doubt, and that is, no God had anything to do with a book. No
Fact.
God. So if it's a God out here who put this place together, who put this universe together, he never told us anything about it,
Right.
because we can't. Yeah, that's my position. I don't just dismiss that. Oh, it can't be some type of deity. It could be. We might tomorrow. We might find some evidence that points to Yahweh. But as we speak right now, as we are talking right today, there is no evidence of any deity having anything to do with a book. And
Right.
that's very key when these people bring that bring that kind of question to the table. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I just it always cracked me up, man, when we get into those conversations because I be thinking to myself, like, why are we even making this comparison? But let me ask you this, because we talk a lot about Christianity. And me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. I got a lot of love for the black church. I tell people all the time, I wouldn't be here. I don't think I'd be alive today if it wasn't for the black church. Like if it wasn't for my wife being raised in the black church, I wouldn't have stopped hustling. At 16 years old, she told me, like, we had a kid. And she was like, look, we got a kid. All this so-called hustling you doing, it ain't gonna work no more. Like you got to get a job, doc. And so I took my ass to Hardee's and I got a job. That little hustling I was trying to do, it had to cease. And I'm talking part-time hustling. It ain't like I ain't trying to pretend I was Scarface or Nino Brown, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know how
feel you.
people like to aggrandize they street life. No, I ain't doing that. But I'm just saying, at 17, I call myself doing my thing, and she at 16 made a decision like, if you're gonna be with me, you can't do that. And I went to Hardee's and got a job, and going to her church changed my perspective on a lot of things, what it was to be a man, how a man's supposed to conduct themselves. So I'm not saying that I didn't learn a lot of lessons in the black church. Now, me personally, I separate the black church as an institution from the rest of Christianity, whether right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I do because I feel like it's a totally different construct, and I think I'm validated in that when you look at how white Christians like James White, Jeff Durbin, and these other individuals talk about the black church. But what I want to ask you is not necessarily subject to the black church. Is how do you view Islam, specifically the NOI, and then we'll talk about Islam proper, so to speak, as we get into how you feel about the NOI.
I feel, or if you're talking about the origins of Islam, I feel it comes from an Arab background that has nothing to do with our people. If you're talking about the NOI and Farrakhan and Elijah and Malcolm X, I deeply admired them for the work that they put in. But to me, it's just another dogma and it's just another. Uh, I'll call, and I know some people are going to get offended, but this is what I call it. I mean, I call the three Abrahamic faiths the dogma pimp gang because that's what they pretty much has been doing to our people for the last 400 years, is collecting a lot of revenue, and yet our people are still in last place. I have much more respect for the black churches of old, for the beginning of the black church, where the people were coming in and strategizing on how to make it better for our people more than anything. They were using those churches as a base, a safe haven to strategize for the betterment of our people. So for those churches and for those that were a part of it, that helped to build the schools that we attend now and the colleges, and that I have deep admiration for those people. I think their heart was in the right place. And you have to understand, at that particular time, to be a Christian could mean that you get a bigger piece of the turkey leg from the master's table. It could mean that you're not going to get whipped as hard as other slaves was going to get whipped or punished as severely. It could actually mean your freedom. You could become free as a Christian if you were a slave. So this is why they changed it from Christianity, because they enslaved us because we wasn't Christians. So once we started to become Christians and some of us started to obtain our freedom, they switched from religion or Christianity and took it to race. So
People,
now anyone who's white or who cannot be enslaved, anyone who's not white can be enslaved.
you teaching
They
right
switched
now,
it.
bro. People don't know this.
Yeah,
People
it's
don't
a
know.
fact.
Go ahead. You teaching.
Uh, Yeah, it's a fact. And the problem with us right now, my brother, is that we're still stuck in the religion part. They've moved on. They've moved on to race. They moved on to a whole different paradigm and to oppress our people. We're still in religion looking for a sky daddy to come and make it better. No, we have to move forward, my people. We have to understand that they're not doing this because of Christianity anymore. They're doing this because of race. And they're just using Christianity to keep you still on the your mind on the plantation. Because
Fact.
remember this, they used to tell our people that this earth is not for you. This is not where you're going to have happiness and joy. Your joy will be in heaven. And I have paintings from the 17th and 18th century, my brother. I have paintings showing us as slaves in heaven with white people there over us. This is what they were teaching our ancestors. And when you're under a whip, when you're being oppressed, you look for any light that you can possibly find to relieve yourself of that stress. So the church was a place where we could go for a few, maybe hour or so, and get away from Master's whip, even though he had an overseer there, making sure that the pastor was saying the right things. You see, because they had a slave Bible where they took out a lot of stuff out of the Bible just for us, so they could keep our minds enslaved. That's what the purpose was for. So I don't blame the people of the church. I don't blame the black church. I blame those who put that in our minds and put us under those conditions that make us feel like, man, if I could just get some relief. Oh, we going to church today? Let's go. I blame those people because without that, who knows what we would have done? We would have stayed in our own systems, and who knows what we would have achieved doing it our own way. But
Fact.
anytime a people conquers another one, though the conquered will adopt their God concept. This is throughout history. We see this all throughout history, not just with our people, with many type of people who have been conquered. They adopt the conqueror's God, and that's what happened with us. Go ahead.
Facts. And it's a trip because we just we take for granted what we as a people been through. And I like how you broke down how they switched from religion to race, and they grafted all these people who they never included. Like they didn't include the Italians and the Scottish and the Irish and all these different individuals into whiteness until they realized we got to do something about this black problem. And so
Big
we look,
facts.
yeah, we look back at this country. People talk about how great this country is, but before this country was this country, they invented what we now know as race, as far as black and white. Because before that, it was about nationality, where you was from, your ethnicity. They didn't even trip off of it. It was about where you were from. You
Right.
were
Facts.
Nigerian, you was Ghanaian, you were English, you were Irish, etc. And I always tell people, go back to Bacon's Rebellion in the colony of Virginia.
Oh
He,
man, now you teaching.
I'm
Now
like,
you
bro,
teaching, bro.
you hear
Right
me?
on.
And
Right
so
on. You right
people,
on it. Go
people,
ahead.
people just they don't know this shit. And it messed me up because they'll never teach you this in a history class. Because these individuals, this man, Bacon, got a bunch of individuals. He didn't care what color they was, black, white, whatever.
Oh,
He got them
yeah.
together and said, we finna fight these Indians. And the higher ups, those who had bread, those who had money, was like, nah, you need to chill. He was like, nah, I'm tired of them messing up my property. We finna go at them. But see, these
Hey.
higher ups trying to get a treaty with the Indians. And that's, again, this was part of those, what eventually became those 5 civilized tribes that I spoke about in my debate with Cap, that he don't
Mm-hmm.
want to acknowledge that had our people as slaves. But to make a long story short, at the Bacon's Rebellion, these higher ups was like, wait a minute, we got all these poor people, some indentured, some not, but they all poor, banding together against the Native Americans. How soon before they band together against us? This is in a scholar, Irvin Nail Painter. This is in her words. This is in Ephraim X. Kendi's work. They break this shit down. And
no doubt.
And it's also on a podcast called Seeing White. If anybody ain't checked out this podcast, go to Stitcher and Google and search for Seeing White, because it breaks the history down of how our country created the concept of race. But long story short, so these higher ups didn't start thinking, because Bacon's Rebellion had all of these people of different backgrounds who was all poor, who was all indentured servants. They band together for one cause. So of course they thinking, how long is it going to be before they do that to us? So what they did, 3 people ran away from a person who they were bonded to, bond servants to. One was an African, one was an Englishman, and the other, I always forget if he was a Frenchman or a Dutchman. But either way, they had 3 nationalities, 2 of which were European, 1 of which was African. Now, when they caught all 3 of them and brought them back, the 2 that were from European descent got 7 more years of servitude to the person they ran away from, and 7 years to the colony of Virginia. That's 14 years. In the span of a lifetime, it seemed long, but it really ain't. The African got lifetime servitude. Let's break down why. Because the colony of Virginia and the rest of the 13 colonies that would later become the United States had got into the transatlantic slave trade under our so-called black king, if you listen to a Hebrew Israelite, King James. But we know that boy was white as the driven snow. But they had got into the transatlantic slave trade, and they said, we can't let this nigga be free, so we giving him lifetime servitude. You can Google this. The first person to get lifetime servitude. This brother ran away with 2 white boys, essentially, 2 Europeans. They got 14 years total of more bonded servitude, while he got lifetime servitude and became a slave for life, because they had more people coming over here that looked just like him. And it wouldn't look right if he had 14 years of servitude while they had lifetime servitude, because now those 13 colonies that will become the United States was in the game. They was in the transatlantic slave game. And so when our ancestors came over here and they hit these shores, it was on and popping for those in Virginia and those other southern colonies. Didn't have much use for it in the North, although they did enslave people, because we know Odessimus, who was in Boston, which is in the North, was a slave, and he helped showed white people or Europeans how to inoculate themselves against smallpox, and is still to this day one of the most influential Bostonians in history. That's a whole nother subject, though. But my point being, I just want to point out, America created race as we know it. America got in the slave trade. And while there were bonded servants of all races, America established that an African had to be a slave for life. Don't get it twisted. Like when I say we do real history over here, we do real history.
Facts. And let's touch on that a little bit. I'm gonna touch on that just a little bit to build on what you said. Okay, the Bacon Rebellion. How did this all start? Well, when we have the first slaves being brought over here into Jamestown, Virginia, what was it like? Okay, so an indentured servant is basically a slave under contract. How did this all occur? You have the Pilgrims who came over here. Some of them was well off. They were called planters. So a planter is someone who is raising crops. They want you to come in and plant the seeds for coffee or whatever it is they raising. That's a planter. What did they started to do. They started to have the poor from Europe come over here. They would pay for their trip to come to America, and through that payment, they would have them serve them for a certain amount of years. Well, the Europeans was coming over here. They was dying from diseases. They were coming over here, and some of them would make it all the way through and serve their term, but then the planters didn't want to pay them. The planters were supposed to give them some land, give them some tools and some seed to grow their own crops and grow their own whatever it is they wanted to grow. And so a lot of them gypped them out of that. And so what the planners started to realize is, wait a minute, we're paying these people way over here. We're paying them. This is getting expensive. So when you talk about the Bacon Rebellion, what did that really start? The Bacon Rebellion was started from one individual that you mentioned, a European, who was commiserating with other indentured servants, and there was a few African slaves there. They would all get together when they would take their breaks or whatever. They would eat something, they would drink something or whatever before the day was over, and they would commiserate. And what the white people were saying, the white indigenous servants were starting to say, was that the African slaves were getting treated better than them, because the African slaves had a place to live. He had food. He had all these things provided by the planters. Whereas these indentured servants, they had that, but not on that level. And once you served up your term, now you're on your own. So these people, that man galvanized those people together, like you said, and they did start to fight the Indians, because the Indians was still at large, and they still wanted their of course their territory back. So that is the gateway into Africans being brought here on a high level, because the planters, because you've explained everything else about the Bacon Rebellion. I don't really have to go into all those other details, but what I can say is this is what sparked a high revolution of our people being brought to the Americas, because the planters decided, hey, we can get free labor. We don't have to pay no indentured servants. We don't have to worry about giving them no land. We can bring these Africans over here, and we can get all this for free. We can get all that labor for free. And that's when it switched from being a Christian to being white or not. So you have touched on some serious history. I'm going to do a presentation on scripture rippers soon on this subject matter, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been studying it for a while now. I'm just putting everything together before I do my presentation. And you are absolutely right. That was key to the Atlantic slave trade and the volume of our people that came here. Go ahead.
Yeah, because and what people don't realize, before I get to my next question, and I want you to respond to this too. What people don't realize, and shout out to MVP Chris Harris in the building. Shout out to you, bro. What people don't realize is,
Yes, what's up? Go ahead.
before that, you could a sister, and I forget her name, forgive me, she sued for her right to be free because of her conversion to Christianity. And after that, that's when they said, wait a minute, hold up, this nigga chick, they ain't say chick though, we know that, sued for her right to be free.
Facts.
We gotta alleviate this whole, we can convert them to Christianity because that'll make it easier for them to obey, right? But
Facts.
that ain't gonna set them free though, because we gotta alleviate that part where they'll be free, because this sister successfully won and got her freedom based on us saying, if you Christian, you can't be enslaved. So they switched it because they control the fucking narrative. And that's what we seem to forget. They decided, if you Christian, you can be free. Then when that happened successfully, they switched it and said, nah, wait a minute. We can't allow that again. So now we got to change the terms. And so you can convert your slaves to Christianity, but that didn't mean that they had to be free. That meant they would be docile, because you got to turn the other cheek when somebody slapped the shit out of you. You got to be
Exactly.
like when somebody despitefully misuse you, the way our ancestors was despitefully misused during slavery. You got to forgive them,
Facts.
because that's what the Bible say. So again, we have to understand how they manipulated our people with this book. Again, my master teacher, Baba Saber, Maurice Neferu, always say, ain't nothing wrong with religion. The problem is religion that comes from a book. Like, you can
Facts.
have religion all you want to. You can be religious about whatever. I'm religious about sex. I'm very religious about it. But that ain't got nothing to do with a book. You see what I'm saying? You can be religious about whatever you want to, and you can be as religious as you want to. But he said religion that comes from a book is the issue, because that can be interpreted any way. And all we got to do is look at all the different Christian denominations, all the different Christian sects. We can look at the goddamn Hebrew Israelites who disagree vehemently with Christianity, but they reading from the same goddamn book, because it's a book. But I want to say this before you respond. Now, looking at the fact that they changed the terms, if you was a Christian, you could be free. But then they changed it when the sister successfully sued for her freedom. And they said, well, you can make your slaves Christian, but that don't mean you got to free them. How do you, like, as it pertains, because this shit happened. Ain't no denying it, ain't no falsifying it. It happened. When you look at events like that throughout our history, going up to now, what do you think about this particular belief system as it pertains to us?
Well, this is the reason why I bang on religion the way I do. And the black church just happens to be a vessel of this propaganda. So it seems like I'm banging on the black church. No, I'm banging on the ideology and the precepts that you're teaching our people. And so you're absolutely right. It is a detriment to our people. It is something that's keeping our people in darkness. And we have to rise above this. And the only way to do so is to educate ourselves. That's the most important part I found out in my journey, is that education will free you from the madness of dogma. But you must attack dogma where it lays. And unfortunately, it lays in the black church. It lays in the church, period. And it's around all of us. It's in our homes. It's with our elders. It's with our children. So, and how did this happen? Well, it happened from believing in a God of a book. So you're absolutely right. That is extremely dangerous to the mind. And they knew this. They knew this. And it keeps you from thinking about something like this, my brother. It keeps you from thinking, like, why in the world would people who enslaved us give us a book, access to an almighty God that could turn on them? Why would they do that? And you're talking about people who threw our ancestors off of slave ships to the sharks. This is the origin of you and the Bible. This is where you got the Bible from. You can talk about Ethiopia and the Christian church there, the converts there, and you can talk about this North Africa and how it was there. But what you can't do is show people from where we come from, a majority of us come from, which is West Africa, practicing some Christianity before the Europeans got there. You can't even show that with Ethiopia, and you can't show it with North Africa. We did not involve ourselves in this religion until European contact. That's key to the conversation. But when you are a believer, when you have put everything you have into a book of dogma, Anything goes. It doesn't matter that they gave it to us. It doesn't matter that they enslaved us in the name of this book. It doesn't matter that we've been going through this for 400 years and we're still in last place, waiting on the sky daddy to come change it for us instead of changing it for ourselves. None of that matters. All that matters is their belief and their faith in this God of a man-made book.
And that's real talk, bro. And my brother, that again, this is my little bro, my co-host, nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. He say I'm talking nonsense right now, right? He say just because someone takes something out of context doesn't mean it's false. Where is the logic? Now I'm gonna ask you, bro, and I'm just curious from your standpoint. I ain't even asking nobody in the chat, but y'all can chime in if y'all want to. What did I say that was illogical?
Nothing. But again, when you're speaking to someone, and shout out to that brother, he's a good brother, and he means well, and he's standing up for his beliefs, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that at all. So I hope he doesn't feel that way. I actually admire his courage that he will stand up against us, to make his stance. That's respectable. But the problem is, when you're a believer, you can't think outside of the box. You are bound to that book. Remember, religion is a Latin word. It means to be bound. What are you bound to? You're bound to the religion. Where does the religion come from? It comes from a book. So that means that you're bound to that book. You're bound to the precepts and concepts within that book. So no matter what we say, that makes all kind of perfect sense to people that can think outside of the box. To someone that doesn't do that, that's stuck in that paradigm, they can't see the truth outside of that book. And so he's absolutely correct, though. The narrative of the Bible may not support, it may or it may not support those who use it for their agendas. He's absolutely right about that. But that's beside the point. The point is that the book does not come from a God. The point is we shouldn't be waiting on anything or anybody. The point is everything that we need, want, and desire can come from our people. I hear our people screaming and crying for reparations. Why don't y'all put about $5 each into a bank account and create a World Bank and loan and lend and support your own people? Loan your people money for housing. Build schools with that money. Build infrastructure with that money. Make big business deals with that money. Put yourself in a position where you can get into the world power game. You can't do so without the funds. And there's enough of us. If we just put in $5 a piece, we could become a huge world power. We are already like the 14th. If you add us all up, we're like the 14th largest nation on the planet. So if we were to unify, then we could build. But unfortunately, oppression, torture, murder is not enough for us to say, you know what, we need to unify and change our atmosphere. And this is because, to me, the number one reason of that is European dogma. Now people say, well, why you say European dogma, Black Lion Supreme? Why are you calling it European? It started in the Middle East. It started by people of color. Blah 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 blah. Christianity was nothing, people, nothing until it got a power base, and the power base of Christianity is Rome. Rome, not Africa, but Rome. It's the Romans who put money. Exactly. It's the Romans who put resources into Christianity. It's the Romans who made Christianity popular all over the world. It's the Romans who built up the religion and put it at the status that it is now. And they created their own version of Christianity. The Christianity of the first century is not the Christianity that you follow today. And that's a fact. So you have to understand the history of this religion and when it became popular. Before the Romans, Christianity was popular in Palestine and in Syria. That's it. That's about it. It started to stretch over the Roman Empire through trade and through war. That's what spread Christianity. And then when it got to Constantine, like you just brought up, he made it official. And that's when the entire power base of Rome backed Christianity. That's what made it extremely popular. And so we have to acknowledge that no religion is nothing without a power base. No
That's
religion. Go ahead.
facts on facts on facts. This is my last question for you, bro. And like I said, this is how I came to know you, came to get your information, see how hard you went for our people, and wanted to be, in your atmosphere, so to speak. How did you link up with Garfield and the Dagger Squad, and what can you tell us about that interaction and the brother Garfield and his scholarship and what attracted you to it?
My brother Garfield. Oh man. I think I was in a group called Hebrew Israelites versus Kemet. This is the first time I ever seen Garfield. About 7, almost 8 years ago. And I saw his information. He posted something. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I was like, wow, bro, that's on point. Then he did an interview on Sinetta TV where he really broke down the information. He really broke down the Bible and the history and a few other things that he was talking about. And I was like, okay, this brother's on point. I could actually learn something from him. So we interact through the years. We shared posts. We became Facebook friends, and me, him, and Rob Bourne used to go in there. I mean, and bro, when I tell you, we used to tear people up.
Shout out to Rob Bourne.
Oh man, me and Rob Bourne did some tag teams on some people, man, that made them just start just have to leave the group. It was that bad. We would expose all the pseudo crap. And so I built a relationship with those guys like that. And then one day, Garfield asked me uh, about how did the uh, how did the verses and chapters get into the Bible? Because before that, there was no verses and chapters. There were only it was just you just read the Bible, the scripture without all of that. It didn't have any verses. It didn't have any chapters. So I gave him the information on who put those verses, who put it into verse form, and who put it into chapter form. And that day he asked me to become a member of the Dagger Squad, and I've been a member of the Dagger Squad ever since. And the interactions that you see between me and him was built off of those days. We had some great fun in that group, and then he allowed me to be, or he asked me to be a part of the Dagger Squad, and we've been banging ever since. And that brother is one of the most essential. Uh, he is the one of the most influential people in my development. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't lie to you. Without brother Garfield, without brother Reggie, without uh, Shaka Atmos, you wouldn't see the Black Lion Supreme that you see today. I have to give them that credit. And he's a very good friend of mine, and I call him my brother, and I mean that on the highest level.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. And like I said, when I first heard you on there, I was like, wait, man, who is this dude? He don't sound like Garfield. And that's the beauty of it, because that's how you know Garfield is a good leader.
No
My
doubt.
master teacher.
That's what he admired. That I will
Yeah,
argue Garfield down to the ground. He knows it.
yeah,
It's things that we
yeah.
do not agree on, like historical Jesus. We don't
My
agree on that.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
and he
My
allows you to be yourself, and I allow him to be himself, and that's why we have a good relationship. Go ahead.
that's a beautiful thing, bro, because my master teacher and I don't agree on there being a 100% certified divine creator. Like, I have some agnostic aspects to what I believe, because sometimes I just have to say I don't know, and that's
Facts.
okay with me. But with him, it's like, no, you got to stand on. You Kemet, you got to stand on. And it's like, well, but I don't know. So, but as a leader, he still says, nah, with regards to your knowledge, with regards to how you represent yourself, I still entrust you with the sacred title of Saber. And that, to me, that shows that he has high esteem for me. You know what I mean?
No
And
doubt.
so
So do I.
I see that with Garfield with regards to how he deal with y'all, because he don't have to agree with y'all for y'all to still come on and contribute to the information. And
Yeah,
that's
bro. If you saw the chat, if you saw the back chat of the Dagger Squad, you would be like, wow, they be in there going at it. They be, they be, and the things that we talk about is a lot of it we haven't brought to the public. So it's like if you was it's like people was able to read what we post in there, this whole thing probably would be over with a lot faster.
exactly.
Because we got some stuff coming out, bro, that's gonna blow some minds.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
That's how it is, man.
And no
Because
doubt, you definitely a saber. You definitely put in the work. You're definitely intelligent, and you are passionate about your people. And I always am going to admire a brother or a sister who comes at this in that direction. So I appreciate you, my brother. That's why I'm here. And if it's anything I can do to ever support this channel, support it growing and getting bigger, I'm all for it.
I didn't realize I was muted. I definitely appreciate that, bro. And with that being said, man, are you open to any questions? Because I could throw the link in the chat, let you answer a few questions, and then we can get on up out of here.
Of course, anyone that want to ask me anything is more than welcome.
All right, and listen, you don't have to come in being contentious. If you just want to give my brother his props, as he so rightfully deserved, because he too humble to give them to himself. Come in and give my brother his props. So I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, and we'll go from there.
If you want to get some smoke, you can get that too. Let's go.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
I'm open for
Yeah,
anything and
bro.
everything.
I definitely appreciate you coming on, bro. It's a huge honor, man. And I see you doing big things in the community. Like I say, when Brother Reggie shouted that out, and I said, wait a minute. He thought a message from BLS was from Baba James Smalls. That's bro, that's like the biggest compliment anybody has ever given anybody.
No
you know
doubt.
what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. That elder is one of the greatest to ever bless us with his information. No doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I have nothing but the
Absolutely.
utmost respect for him. Nothing but the utmost respect.
We got MVP Chris Harris in the building.
Now,
Chris, what's
what?
going on, Chris?
He named all them people and just said, you know what? I ain't gonna forget Chris. I'm gonna forget Chris, the one who first started playing.
Hey, I shouted you out as soon as I seen you, bro. So,
First started
Oh man, my bad, Chris. You right. You right.
The one who first told Shaka Amos, that's wrong right there, Shaka. And Shaka said, you know what? Let me look into that. The one who first started showing the incomplete.
hey, real quick, Chris. Check it out, brothers. Hey, y'all know how I do, man. I keep it a buck. I gotta go pay a water bill. We got Ratchet Craig in the building. Hey, Craig, soon as Chris get done, you go in. Go ahead, Chris.
No,
Let me straighten this out, man, before Chris kills me. Hey, Chris is definitely one of my favorite people. He definitely brings nothing but pure facts. He is a passionate scholar. He's definitely a passionate scholar, and I admire him a lot. And I love how to watch him bang, man. This brother, he brings the information like nobody else, and I mean directly to your face. So I appreciate you, my brother. You have definitely taught me some things, and I can't take that away from you. You are definitely one of the essential people in my development. I appreciate you very much. I've been watching you for a while, and you bring it, bro. No doubt about it.
No doubt, man.
And thank you.
Go ahead, Craig. You want to say
What's
something?
up, Craig? What's going on, bro?
What's up, Black Lives
What's
Supreme? You know how
happening,
I feel.
bro?
Yeah, you know how I
What's
feel
happening with
about
you?
you. And one thing I do agree with you on the Decker Squad back chat. we buying back there. So
Tell
I
them.
do
Tell
agree on
them.
that. We go at each other. Hey, we don't agree with each other.
So
We do
dope.
not agree with each other on a lot of things, but we'll iron it out before somebody go public, right? And the historical G's and you and Garfield, y'all always back and forth. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Fact.
kind of away toward the historical G's. I'm like 60-40. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm. That's
that's
all
how
right.
I feel toward it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing
But
wrong with
that's
that.
a good argument. And I wish
Every
y'all
every
do something like
so
both of y'all toward it. But I got to send shout out to brother Piyaki on the Paradigm Shit. This was a great show, and I love that brother.
Appreciate you.
And then I got MVP Chris Harris on here, so I
Yep.
got the always that guy is the best debater. I don't care what nobody say. You could bring
Fact.
polite. I wish he could debate polite. And they could agree with so he gonna kill polite. I'm just saying this Chris Harris. I guarantee you, if they could agree on something they both agree on and do the research on it, this guy a killer and shocker. I'm just saying, this guy is relentless. I just heard this
No
guy.
doubt.
Yeah, and I'm just saying he don't get his just due
You gotta
because
come
he
with
don't
your
run in
A,
these certain
B,
types
C,
of
and E
circles.
game with Chris. He is not playing. When he gets you in his fire in his sights, it's a
Yeah,
wrap. He gonna blow your head off.
yeah.
No
Was he
doubt about it.
conversate with you? Is a rap. Was he
You
conversate
better
with you?
pick
Is
the
a
right
rap.
topic messing with this man. That's a fact. And let me say this: shout out to Sabio. Sabio is definitely helped me in my development. He helps me. Uh, he
Oh yeah,
he he
yeah,
he goes in deep on in research. He's made me a better researcher. He's brought me information I never knew nothing about.
yeah, yeah. He
And,
like
and, and,
brother
and if
Reggie.
it wasn't
He
for
like brother
Sabio, I
Reggie a
wouldn't
little bit.
even been on Paul like I'm on Paul. So let me shout out my brother. He's definitely one of the essential people in my development and a good brother and my brother. So I appreciate him too.
And let me get. He's like a brother Reggie. You know, they ain't the best debaters, but they are great researchers. And Sabio is a great researcher. Like he'll go into information. You like, damn, you read that boring ass shit.
You
You
be
went
like,
there.
damn, I ain't never seen that in my
Yeah,
life. What the hell? How
yeah,
this man coming up with something I ain't never seen? What the
yeah,
hell?
yeah. So,
Yeah, he make
so
you feel like that.
we all interconnect with each other, and I think we need each other, right?
No doubt. And you
Yeah,
too,
we
Craig.
all
You've
need
been with
each
me
other.
for years, bro. You witnessed me bury fools for a long time, man. And we've shared information
I'll be you,
and
yeah.
everything else.
We go back
And
to pseudo days.
without you, there would be no me, bro. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
we
you
go
too.
back to
You
pseudo days,
definitely helped me
me
a
and
lot. I
you.
appreciate
Yeah, we both was we had our pseudo days, right? We became way further than these, right? And we wasn't even super pseudo like
you.
these niggas are today. We like
Yeah,
halfway pseudo, you know what I'm saying? And we in
yeah,
groups since then. Yep.
yeah,
So
man.
that's
We've
how I
been
know
banging
you.
on this for a long time, man. Way
Yeah,
before I
that's how I
became
know
Dagger
you.
Squad, no doubt.
Yep, yep. And that's what I'm saying. And I just have certain people I have. I'm an independent contractor when it comes to my friends, right? Like I don't have to like the whole clique or nobody, but it's certain people I do have my biases toward, and this toward Chris Harris, this toward you, Black Lion Supreme, it's toward uh other brothers out here, not like
Hey
Paradise
man,
Shift,
I didn't hear
and I
Pianki. I
like
was
my
waiting for
Christian brother,
Pianki.
yeah, brother Pianki, yeah, brother Pianki, I love you, yeah, brother Pianki, uh and our brother Nobody. I like Nobody. He a Christian. I like him for some reason. I don't know why. But I'm
Hey,
gonna figure it out.
probably he put that Brooklyn magic on you and me, man. As Garfield say,
He
that
from
Brooklyn
Brooklyn.
magic, he got us, man.
He cannot be from Brooklyn. That's what he like that.
We'll call it that Dallas magic. I don't know what it is. He sprinkled some
He
fairy
from
dust
Dallas.
on us,
That's
bro.
why I understand him, dude. That's why I understand. He from Dallas, dude.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, I
It
don't know
is.
the brother very
Yeah, I
well,
got a
but
little
from what I
bias
do know
toward here. I
of
like
him, he's a strong brother. You know, he means what he says, and he stands on his word, and I appreciate that.
he is a zealous. That's what I like about it. He is a zealous. He'll listen. So that's what I kind of like about it. Yeah, that's what I like about the brother.
What they don't understand, Craig, is we don't hate our people. We love our people. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care what dogma you follow. We love you. That's a fact. Because you are one of us. You're one of our people. That's all that matters to us.
Yeah.
And let me say this for for the Christian community and the Hebrew Israelite community. You know, one day we might find out we were dead wrong, fam.
We
We
might.
might find they might make a discovery tonight to find Noah's Ark or something. I don't know. And we might be, just dead wrong. We're just telling you what the scholarship says today. That's it. We're just telling you what it says today.
But it still don't make them Hebrew Israelites though. Like how they trying to say it. That's all I'm gonna say.
you go, you go,
Hey,
black.
hey,
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
can
keep it
find
real
that
with you.
discovery.
I don't see any. I do not want to be a Jew. Hey,
No,
my
I
man
don't either.
Captain DeGaulle Gabor, let me tell you, I do not want to be an Israelite. I do not want to be a Jew. I see no value
Them
in it. I'm
niggas
good with
curse.
being
They curse.
African. I'm good with being blackety black, as Captain
Yeah,
Tazoriak say.
blackity black,
I
black,
Facts,
black.
love being black. You understand? So
facts,
shout
facts.
out to my captain and my officers at ISUPK St. Louis. I don't care to be an Israelite.
Facts. Shout out to Captain. I admire Captain a lot because he, again, stands on what he believes in. And he stands on it like a man. So you
Facts.
gotta admire
What
that.
captain y'all talking about? What captain y'all talking about?
Captain
Captain
Tazoriak.
DeGaulle Gabor.
I'm
Don't
talking
let
about Captain Tazoriak, yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't know the other
I'm
captain.
talking about
The Captain Gabal. Yeah, I like Captain
yeah,
Gabal. He's funny to me. I want to get a. I want to get in a tiger with him one day. He's fun.
yeah, yeah.
Nah, I like him. He's
But
funny. So
all the hey, ISUPK represent like Black Lion said. Tazoriak, if I'm telling you, if I would have seen Tazoriak when I was like in my early 20s, ISUPK would have had me.
I'm
yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
no doubt
I'm
about
glad
it.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I would
see.
have
I'm
lost.
glad I didn't see the Zodiac. I'm glad I
Yeah,
didn't
no
see.
doubt.
He got me
I'll
too.
have on one of them
He done
outfits
got
right
me
now.
too.
No doubt about it.
I'd have been in all black with the boots and everything, bro.
Yeah,
No doubt
Zodiac would
about
have
it.
Head
got
wouldn't
me.
have been
Yeah.
shaved. Y'all have seen my bald spot and the headband and all that shit.
Yeah, Zodiac would have got me too. I ain't gonna lie. I see him. I talked to him. I talked to him outside of this, and we don't agree on nothing, right? But I
Right.
said, I'm glad I didn't meet him earlier.
I'm
Hey,
telling
I
you,
kid you not.
man.
Y'all might call me crazy. Tazoriak is he remind me of Malcolm X in his ability to pull you in. And because I'm
I
just
get,
like, damn, man, that brother would have had me if I was younger.
No
yeah.
doubt.
Hey,
You can't shake
we
his
got the scripture
foundation.
ripper Sabio in the building.
Sabio, what's going on? Yeah, you can't shake his foundation, man. You gotta admire that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much
You got to
respect
mind
to
that.
him. Sabio, can you hear us?
You got to
I
move
hear
in.
y'all loud and clear. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got you,
there you
bro. We
go.
got
There
you.
you go, G. Turn your mic up a little
What's
bit
up?
more,
What's
though.
up, my brother? We
Yeah,
hear
turn your
you. Go
mic up a
ahead.
little bit and go in, bro.
I came to bring all the
Yeah, you
smoke.
can't shake his foundation, man. You gotta admire that.
I came to bring all the smoke.
Turn us down in the
Hey,
background,
Savio,
Sabio.
bitch on YouTube, Savio.
My mute.
I hear y'all loud and clear. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you,
There
bro.
you go.
We got
There
you.
you go, G.
My bad. My
You
bad.
want all the smoke? We heard you. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I
want
said
all
I
the
came to
smoke?
bring all the smoke. Cause y'all
We are the smoke. We got MVP Chris Harris, Black Lion Supreme, and Ratchet Craig. We are the smoke, Sabio. What you talking about?
Right. I know I came on the wrong channel trying to bring funk, huh?
Yeah, we agree
Like
with you.
get
We
my head
agree
beat
with
off.
you. Yeah, but that's fine. You can make a public announcement. D. You can make a public announcement.
Nah, I just wanted to say I appreciate everybody on the panel. Chris Harris, even though we done bumped head a few times, you have brought some great information to me, and I have learned a lot of things from you. I will let you know that, and I do appreciate some of the information you bring out. Don't act like I don't. I don't want you to think I don't. Even though we have bumped heads. And everybody else, y'all know how I feel about y'all. Shit, y'all helped me get to the level I'm at. If it wasn't for y'all challenging me and asking me tough questions and pushing me to think deeper and look at things from other angles, I wouldn't be doing none of this. So,
Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna let you off the hook
Appreciate you,
this
bro.
time, yo. Never.
Appreciate
I
you.
ain't never let you off the hook. You'll be great fucking with me. You'll be great messing with me. I promise you. He know it. He know it. He know it. But
Hey,
we always had
Sabio,
that relationship from day one, though. He'll
real,
challenge me too. He'll get at me too. So
real
this is
talk.
our
My
relationship.
brother Teddy introduced me to Sabio, and I had been hearing him on Garfield channel, same way with Black Lion Supreme. And Sabio was like, "Hey man, not Teddy was like, Sabio from St. Louis." I was like, "What? Oh man, wow, I should have been hooked up with this brother." So yeah, it wasn't nothing. And as soon as we hooked up, you see, it was like it just went perfectly. So regardless, man, like I say, people can't nobody tell me nothing about Sabio. To me, he the best researcher in the business outside of Dr. Reggie, because I give Dr. Reggie the utmost props. But whenever I got a discussion coming up, the brother hit me with like 20, 30 slides, and they all be backed with scholarly information. So I fuck with Sabio, period. If you don't fuck with Sabio, let me know, because I ain't gonna fuck with you. And I'm standing on that. So
Bad.
it is what it is.
yo,
I am who I am. I don't apologize for it. So I fuck with
Bad.
who I fuck with. If he got problems, we gonna help him get through them problems, and we gonna move
You
on. If
already
you don't
know.
like it, get the fuck on.
You already know.
I respect that, but I want to say this: my elder brother Ray Green, he had been telling me to get in contact with you for years.
Mm.
He had been telling me to reach out to you.
Okay.
Like, I'd never heard of Pianki.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, I had heard about Pianki through Shaka. Shaka used to always talk about Pianki. But I never
Really?
knew what he looked like, or nothing like that. I just knew of your name from him.
And I you know what? Only thing I did was comment in his Facebook group. I ain't even realize he knew who I was, bro.
Yeah, you know
So
who you are. Yep, no doubt
that's
about
what's
it.
up.
He knows
That's what's
you
up.
mentioned your name more than once.
That's what's up. So, but yeah, man. So and that
Hey,
people
Bianca, I ain't gonna
I
lie.
saw,
I don't know how I heard of you. I don't know how I heard of you. I'm just on your channel. I
hey,
don't
I
know how.
seen
I was
I,
on
I
your channel. I can't
I
even
remember the
not even
first
go
time
back
you
to
came
who.
on. I think it was because of Sabio. I ain't gonna lie. Cause I think the
No,
same
I
show I
been
had
heard about
Sabio
it with the
on.
Sabio. Sabio just got me sprawled. See, one thing about it, Sabio, he is a good promoter too of people.
Yeah, Sabio
He
came
just got
on
me
and then you
sprung, but
came
I
on.
heard about you before in Sabio. He just got me sprung on you. And that's why I got to give Sabio his props.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
But look, my man Andre say I'm a student of his. Me and Andre linked up on Facebook. Like he reached out to me on some other shit, and we was just rapping, and it just popped off. But like people make connections like that. Same thing with Chris. I seen Chris beat the shit out of Pastor Bennett. Shout out to Pastor Bennett. I seen Chris beat up Pastor Bennett.
That was a
And I was
lovely
like, man, I got to get this
whooping.
brother on the channel. And
I
you
ain't
would
never
think
forgot that beat.
somebody of Chris level would have been like, man, that little channel, I ain't fucking with him. But the brother came right on and laid down this demonstration. I appreciate that to this day. That's why when something come up, I always be like, hey, Chris, I might have this for you. I might have that for you. Because he could have been like, I go anywhere. Brother came on my little channel. I think I had like 50 subscribers when he came on my channel. So shout out to MVP. So yeah, and I just happened to see him on Garfield channel. So we make our connections how we can.
Yeah, EVP. I'm gonna tell you, EVP will bring these certain people along, right? He have his people, so we all need each other. That's the point I'm saying. So we could all get
No
a
doubt.
thousand members. We can all
No
get a
doubt. No
thousand
doubt.
members, right? We need each
No
other.
doubt.
Y'all
We
want to know
Yeah.
definitely
what
do.
y'all want to know what I
Definitely
was
do.
thinking about what we are basically building? We are building think tanks. We
Go
are
ahead.
building think tanks.
No doubt.
These are black think tanks. Think tanks built on the ideas that we hopefully can come together and build some type of curriculum and hope to push our people forward. These are think tanks we're building.
That's it. That's real. That's real. I remember when I was that might have been my debate with Cap. I saw Garfield in the chat. I say, did I just see Dagger Squad University in my chat?
Yeah, you
But
can
I already knew Black Lion Supreme, Savio. You know what I'm saying? So you make your connections however you can make them, man. And black people, real black people, gonna support black people. Can't nobody tell me I ain't pro-black because I disagree with half the people that come on my channel. But they black, so I
Facts.
fuck with them. You know what I mean?
Facts. That's what
But
they don't
let me
understand.
ask all
We
of
wouldn't
y'all.
even have anything to do with you if we didn't care. We're
Exactly.
teaching and we're doing this because we do care about y'all. We do
Exactly.
care.
Let me
And
ask all y'all something, man, because I gotta
Piazza. Check this
go ahead,
out,
bro.
Piazza, before you
Go
go
ahead.
in. You need to get Garfield on your channel. And do you have his book?
I just ordered it on Amazon last night. I had been meaning
When
to
you
for the
get his
longest, but I
book,
just
when you
finally
get
did
his
it.
book, when you get his book, he go come on your channel. I guarantee you. Got Black Lives Supreme. He's the juice man.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
Yeah,
what I'm
we
Yeah,
just
saying?
gotta give him
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
the
get
about
juice
it.
him
I
over
man.
thought
here.
He'll
about
get
it.
you on
He'll
here.
come along without the book. He'll come.
Okay.
Garfield
Yeah, he'll come
definitely
without
come.
the book. I just want
Yeah,
him to,
I have it
I'm
Monday.
doing my promo right now. Let me do my promo. All right. He said he got
Go
it,
ahead,
and
that's
I
all
was
right. I
rolling with it,
apologize,
right?
brother.
If he didn't
Do
say
your
he got it,
promo.
I would have rolled with it the other way, right? But he'll come on here and he'll talk to you. You go drill him. He wants the tough questions. I guarantee
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
And
he
you can
do.
bring
You know what?
anybody on this panel. You can bring anybody. You can bring whoever on this panel. He gonna take them questions. If Black Lives Supreme and me might be the toughest question for him. We might be the toughest question.
I ain't even got
No,
no
we
tough questions for him. I'm just gonna
You
interview
already
him like I
know.
did my
I'm
nah,
going
you
brother
straight
ain't
to the
have
stove
to.
with
We
Jesus.
don't.
EBK.
When you open up the panel, we expect people to ask tough questions.
No
Like,
doubt.
get in
No
here.
doubt.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I told Bianchi,
Then,
yeah, bring everybody up that want to ask a question. I'm not afraid to
Right.
answer questions. I don't know why people, if you come on an interview, people want to ask you questions. That's what it's for. So I don't know why people run from that. I'll never run from that. Please, by
yeah,
all
yeah,
means,
you
ask
might
me
not
whatever
be
you want.
satisfied with my question because you have a belief system, but this is my answer.
But you'll be surprised how many like I remember one time my cousin Shabaka, y'all see him on the channel sometimes called The Mind of Shabaka. He just be laying down speaking his speech. But he was supposed to have a dialogue with one of the brothers, and they was like, well, we taking Christianity off the table. But at the same time, they call themselves a Christian apologist. Why are you taking
What?
Christianity off the table? So my cousin was like, I can't
They
ask him no
wanted to have a
questions about
one-sided
what he believes.
conversation. They wanted to have a one-sided conversation.
Yeah. And
Exactly. That's crazy.
I'm like, wait a minute, you taking Christianity? Because I don't feel like this ain't about Christianity. Wait a minute, you a Christian apologist? Okay, it's like whatever. Speaking of, let me ask y'all. I got in about 2 hours now, 2.5 hours. I got a dialogue coming up with a Christian apologist, good brother by the name of Pastor Robert Ash, Black Lion Supreme, and Savio. Craig, you probably know him well too from the back chat. The issue is, does the God of the Bible give us free will, and does he have it himself? Everybody, what's y'all opinion on that particular dialogue? Because my position is this. Not only do we not have free will, according to the biblical narrative, not only do we not have it, God himself doesn't have it. Because how do you know everything and you got free will? Because if something can change, then you didn't know it. And if my actions are predetermined, then how do I got free will over it? If the creator of the universe, who controls everything in the universe, holds the universe together, know everything, it don't make no difference. If I decide to go take a piss or piss on myself, God knew that from the beginning. I ain't got no free will over that. He knew it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this before everybody. You dirty Mac the guy with that one. That was dirty Mac. I'm just saying, it really ain't no discussion, but just for entertainment and show purposes. Because it's this simple. What you just said. We really ain't got. If I pee on myself, and God didn't know it, or God knew it, it ain't no free will. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
If you know something, like before I was born, my grandparents, my great grandparents, they parent. If all of that was predetermined, how do I got free will?
Yeah,
you knew it before I even existed.
Facts. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both. You can't have it both ways. You can't say God is everywhere and He knows everything, but you have free will. And examples of you not having free will is all in the Bible. Look at the Pharaoh, who God hardened his heart so that the people would not, so he wouldn't let the people go. Now, if it was up to the Pharaoh, he would let them go. But God hardened his heart. What about the one that God sent a lying spirit to deceive him? How did that man have free will when God is sending a lying spirit to him? Did Job have free will not to have his family killed? Nope.
Did Jonah have free will not to get swallowed?
Boom. Now that's a good one, Fabio. Look at that man did not want nothing to do with Yahweh's plan.
Right now.
Listen to this.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And God gonna have him swallowed up by a fish.
Come on, man.
Threw him up on the shoreline of Nineveh.
Listen to these scriptures. I ain't gonna give away not too much of the dialogue, but listen to these two scriptures. Now, Psalms 139:16 says, "Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them." That's Psalms 139:16. Proverbs 20:24 says, "A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way?" Their own way. "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your way, my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts your thoughts." So if every person's steps are directed by the Lord, where the fuck is the free will?
Hold on. This is how they
and then they say it's poetry.
They say it's poetry, right? But see, no, it isn't poetry, because at other times y'all would say this is ancient wisdom. You see how you want to take the Proverbs at one time as ancient wisdom.
Hold on, Sabio. So let's go to something that ain't poetry then. Let's go to something that ain't poetry. So this is Romans 9:16. "So then it is not of them who wills, nor of him who runs, but of God who shows mercy. For the scripture says, to the Pharaoh, for this very purpose, I have raised you up, that I may show you my power in you, and that my name may be declared in all the earth. Therefore, he has mercy of whom he wills, and whom he wills, he hardens."
Boom.
Chronicles 2:6 says, "Lord, the God of our ancestors, you are not the God who is in heaven, Are you not the God who is in heaven? You rule over all the kingdoms and nations. Power and might are in your hand, and no one can withstand you. Like, what are we talking?
Boom.
Like,
And Mr. Roman,
what are we
and this is
saying?
and
No,
this where
no,
Mr.
no.
Roman,
You're right on point. Look,
and this
look, look
Paul.
at this. Look at it like this. Now, if say this God is real, we're going to talk hypothetically right now. Just say that God is real. If Almighty God Himself, who created the universe, who created everything we know of, says He wants you as His child, do you have the will to resist? Can you resist an
Not according to
Almighty
Scripture.
God? No. But see, they need free will because they need to feel like they've worked themselves into the graces of God. They need to feel like they're in control of their own salvation. That's not the case.
Facts,
Jesus,
facts,
Jesus said,
facts, Black
Jesus
Lives.
said,
I just want to say, obey you. Facts. Keep going,
yes,
keep
sir.
going. About
Jesus said, no one can come to me unless the Father draws him. That means your will don't mean nothing. Your will cannot stop it, and your will cannot make it happen. It's the will of the Father, as Pianki just
Well,
pointed out. Go ahead, somebody.
that need to be.
Philippians 2:13 says, "For it is God who works in you both to will and to do His good pleasure." Like, I'm confused,
Game
bro.
over. Game
I'm
over.
confused.
Game over.
MVP, if you're still there, go ahead and chime in, bro.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk for the longest. Everybody was talking. I was wondering, can
My,
y'all?
Man,
now
come
we
on.
hear you,
You the
MVP.
talker. Ain't nobody. Chris do this all the time. Speak up, damn it. Speak
right,
your
right.
speech.
Let everybody mute their mic and let MVP go
Yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a couple of things that I've been hearing on the panel is one of the things I heard the other day when the apologist was on here, and it's a shame that now we have Christian apologists who don't want to speak apologia. You understand what I'm saying? I found that, like, when I saw BK apologists on here, I said, well, if you want to have an intellectual conversation, say you want to have an intellectual conversation with somebody who understands the eschatology of the text, right? But if you think that somebody's coming on here just to browbeat you based on your doctrinal beliefs, then maybe you shouldn't be coming on any panel, period. Because what you're doing is proselytizing when you don't allow yourself to be scrutinized, your information to be scrutinized. This is a debate platform where information is gathered, shared, and studied. Okay, now that I said that, one of the questions needs to be, and I hope a Christian apologist can please answer this. One of the things is the free will, but I need to know, is God omnipotent? Because if He is omnipotent and He knows all and sees all, there would be no reason that He would get mad about the Israelites sinning in the Bible. That makes no sense, because to be mad shows emotion, and emotion is a form of surprise and anxiety. So it doesn't make any sense. And I think man sees God as he sees himself, right?
Facts.
And the fact that God as he sees himself, he's only going to express God the way he sees and saw himself. So Christian apologetics, I wish I can find some of these people to have conversations with, but unfortunately people just don't like having conversations with me pertaining to these things, and I understand why now. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I want to say. We need to ask those kind of questions. Free will is nowhere in the biblical text. As a matter of fact, these biblical texts are very ethnocentric. You understand what I'm saying? The New Testament was an answer for Hellenistic Jews. That's all it is. The New Testament is the answer for Hellenistic Jews in the period of Hellenism. So why people take it literal, I don't know. Any more
Yeah,
questions?
we know
I
that
agree 100%.
yeah, we know that it was superimposed over a section of our people for a fact. The other people who we can say, let's say that they chose it outright. I'm 100%. I agree with that almost 100%. That some people said, "Hey man, this sound better. than what I've been doing. Let me rock with that. But it was still a reason why they chose it, because as Chris alluded to, they had been exposed to Hellenistic culture. And then in other instances, if you look at the Kemetic culture, let's just keep it a buck. There are elements of the Kemetic culture that are compatible with Christianity for various reasons. And so they can look at it and say, hey, I can relate to somebody coming back from the dead.
Yes, and whoever created it.
Yeah.
Whoever created it did it on purpose. Go ahead.
I can relate to somebody making a sacrifice for others. And before people start getting confused with what I'm saying, I'm not saying that Haru was crucified or anything like that. I'm saying that his mother, when he died as a little boy, because his uncle sent the scorpion to kill him, because he did die and was resurrected, his mother made a bargain with Ra to bring him back to life. That's what happened. He wasn't crucified. So my point being that they can see elements in the Kemetic mythology that made the things in the Christian text not preposterous. Well, and so they say, well, okay, I can rock with this, especially under the situation where I have to.
I didn't know you was this deep, bro. I knew you was knowledgeable, but I didn't know you knew about that.
Yeah, he went deep on us.
Hey, BLS, I fuck around. I fuck around.
I see. Excuse me, brother. I didn't know you had it like that. You a beast.
Yeah, he went deep on us. That was illegal. That was illegal right now.
With that happening, and like it's people try to make it so complicated, but it's simple, bro. And so under situations where they had to, or under situations where it was just a preference, they made that decision. Now, when we take it to our direct ancestors, we know what it was. Like, we ain't got to watch Roots to understand what the fuck it was. Like, you either gonna do what we tell you to do, and you're gonna act the way we gonna superimpose our culture over yours, or we gonna brutalize you until you agree with it. Period. We know that happened. We got the slave narrative. I got an intro to one of my videos where it's a reading from the slave narrative. The sisters say, obey your master, do what you told, and you'll be rewarded in heaven. They ain't never say you was gonna be free in heaven. You see what I'm saying? Like, our ancestors weren't stupid. But after 3-4 generations of believing this, it stopped being I'm doing it because I had to. Now, once you get from my great grandmother to me, I actually believe it, because great grandmother ain't around to tell me you just doing it because you have to. Mama ain't around, her daughter ain't around to tell me you just doing it because you have to. My mama actually started believing it at some point, because she might have seen something that made her say it's real, or she just got convinced of it. But by a particular generation, this shit became real to them. But we know starting off, they was doing it to survive. Like, am I fucked up about that?
Oh, you right on the money. That's exactly why they were doing it. Remember, they had their own concepts, even here in America. One of the first places of worship in America is a Voodoo. It was a Voodoo, not a church, but whatever they call it, was the first one of the first gatherings for African slaves in America. It wasn't a church. It was a shrine of Voodoo. That's a fact.
Yeah. That was damn, what's the brother name that we always say? Yeah, he came in with the everybody, no matter what you believe, we have this sister that we the same people of the same struggle. And what's the brother name in Philadelphia? Did it happen? That was like the mega point for African American beliefs, right? Damn, I can't think of. You know his name, Black Lion?
Who you talking about?
Richard
Absalom
Allen,
Jones.
yeah. The
Yeah,
other
Richard
guy though,
Allen. Yeah,
Fabio. What's
Richard
the other
Allen.
guy's name?
Yeah, Richard
Not
Allen.
Richard Allen, but
Absalom
the one that was
Yeah,
with
Jones.
him.
Richard Allen. Yeah, that
Yeah,
Absalom
was
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Jones.
yeah.
pinnacle
Jones.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah, that was
essential.
before
Yeah, mhm.
the African Methodist Church. That was
Yeah,
before all that, right?
yeah. But that came later. That what
It came later.
you,
I
you
know
have
it
to
came
remember.
later,
You,
but it
you
was
have to
still
you have to remember that King James sent. Remember, there was a split in England between the Allegans and the people who believed in the Geneva Bible, the Puritans and the
yeah,
Anglicans.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Anglicans were pretty much the ones that were sent here on to build America. So they came with a Protestant type religion, form of Christianity. And so when they got here and they started to try, they started letting missionaries onto the plantations, the overseers were against it. They didn't want their slaves to be converted, but they were persuaded or whatever to let it happen. So they were proselytizing to us before the black church ever existed. This is what was happening.
So
So you're absolutely right. It started to flourish and become more essential in our communities once Richard Allen and I forget the other brother's name started to
Absalom
Yeah,
Jones.
The
Absalom
Haley
Jones.
guy.
Once they
The
started.
Haley guy was more extreme than Richard Allen.
But remember, they built a think tank first before they ever built a church. They built a think tank first,
Yeah, the
and the reason
African
why they built the
Society
church is
School.
because they said they couldn't do spiritual things in the think tank. They
Yeah,
couldn't evangelize
yeah
there. So that's
they
why they
made
needed a
it.
church.
Yeah, they made it
A
very
free African society
secular.
was not a church.
Yeah, they made
It
it
was
very
not a church.
secular.
Hey, real
Yeah,
quick,
it was
y'all. I
secular.
gotta get.
They helped the
I got.
poor. They helped the poor, and you had to pay dues to be a part of that society. It wasn't free. You had to pay dues.
Real quick, I
So
gotta put the final touches on this little PowerPoint I got for this discussion I got coming up. So I'm gonna have everybody close out. Before I do though, I want to share some. I want to do this promo for that very discussion, and then I'm gonna have everybody close out. But last but not least, of course, is gonna be my brother Black Lion. Go ahead, bro. You had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I might wanted to send you this document called The Religious Instructions of the Negro in the
you
United
already know.
States by
You already
Charles
know.
Pocock Jones.
Yeah, I got the audio book on
of that.
But yeah, send it to me
The
anyway.
Religious Instructions of the Negro.
Yeah, I got it on. It's not on Audible. I got it on Kindle, and you could do you could play it audibly. So it's not the audio book, but yeah, you can still listen to it.
I love Kindle, man. Yeah, it's excellent. Go ahead.
Yeah, but still send it. Hey, whatever you got, Savio, I'll take it.
All right.
Let me play this real quick, and then I'm gonna have everybody close out. Make sure I got it queued up. But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate my brother coming on. I appreciate y'all jumping on the panel, man. This was
Appreciate you having me.
This was a great show. Give me 1 second. Let me play this promo. Let me see.
I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause
and again, that's tonight at 7:30 Central Time. So everybody tune in for that if you don't mind. Me and the brother, Robert Ash, gonna get that in. That song is called Metu Netter by the brother Xavier Rouzan. You can find that on Epidemic Sound. They've been giving me a lot of good stuff to play on the channel, so I definitely appreciate them. Shout out to the brother. I love that little cut, so when it go perfect with the channel. But Ratchet Craig, I'm gonna have you close out, man. I hope you be in the building at 7:30.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. And I might be listening, right? I might not comment until later on, right? Once I know
So,
what's going on. But anyway, shout out to brother Black Lion Supreme. This was his show. And thanks to brother Pianki, aka Paradise Ship. You know, he got a crew. And I'm just showing love to everybody on it, right? And Sabio and Chris Harris came through, and both of them brothers know how I feel toward them. So, you know, and Sabio, I watch him grow more. Chris Harris always doing his thing, and I met him later, and we just linked like that. So, uh, Black Lion, me and Black Lion go back, way back. You know, I thought Black Lion and every Tolliver was two different people. And I found out recently, like about a year ago, they need two different people. But I'm just saying that to say this. Thank you, brother Paradise Shift. You got a great show. And can I ask you a question right quick, Pia?
Go ahead, bro.
I have a. Do you do shows outside of your soapbox, right?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you go up on somebody else's platform?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I got a sister that I want to introduce you to, right? Just to make your platform grow bigger.
Okay.
And get a new audience. We'll get into details about that, but I just asked you that because I'm more of a promoter, and then to nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my interview that nobody called me out on. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be a presentation form.
Okay.
The interview come later. So them just the things I'm just saying. I just wanted to throw that out there, and whatever y'all got to, whatever question it is what it is. I'm gonna answer it.
Yeah,
So
definitely, man.
yeah.
Hit me up, and we'll get with the sister. And I wanna help Trust grow. You know, nobody grow his. He got a channel, Trust and Believe the Gospel, and that's another thing to let you know the brother intent is pure. He got a channel that you really never hear him promote, called Trust and Believe the Gospel.
I trust him. He got the word trust me, and I trust him.
And he got a channel that he actually has a YouTube channel that he never promotes, but he busy promoting my channel. So that lets you know everything you need to know about him. And this, when I say he my little bro, I've never met him in person. We just clicked online and started hooking up. And he done been on my channel probably more than anybody else. So when I say he my little bro in more than just I'm just saying this since we straight up clicked. And so I want to help him grow his channel too. So any suggestions you got, holla at me, man. We'll definitely be on.
Yeah. He offered me to come on your show and do the interview. I want both of you brothers on there. And I want to do a presentation for before y'all ask me to because my thing is I want to do what is nationality, right? And I say African American is a nationality. No matter how unpopular it is, I want to put it out there, right? And I want the scrutiny behind. I have no problem with that. I want to be controversial.
Hey, whenever you ready, bro. Hey, you got carte blanche, man. My casa, su casa.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna let the next person come on.
Go ahead, Sabio.
I just wanted to say we're gonna have to talk about that thing we got coming up, because it was brought to me spontaneously. So we're gonna have to discuss that. I was thinking about setting up a little after show if you wanted to stop through.
Okay. Yeah. Once I get done with my discussion with the pastor, I definitely come on.
For sure. For sure. All right. I'll let y'all in.
All right. Go ahead and close out, my brother BLS.
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, I want to say thank you to Bianchi for having me on. It was a great honor to be on the show. I have nothing but respect for this brother. I respect manhood, and he stands like a man, 10 toes down. And I appreciate that from many black men. That's what we need in our community. More brothers like this that's going to stand for righteousness and truth, no matter if it hurts or not. He's going to stand tall on it, and that's what we need from not only our brothers but our sisters also. We got to be better, family, and we got to stand strong on the truth. And we can't be embarrassed or feel ashamed because our families feel a certain type of way, because some people in this community feel a certain type of way. Just let the truth speak for itself, and we can move forward as a people. I want to thank all my family for coming up here and giving me support. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I love you guys, and I'll be there for you guys until I can't be no more. That's a fact. I love my people, Christian, Hebrew, atheist, no matter what you are, I'm black first. Always remember that. If there's anything I can do for you, if there's anything I can help you in or assist you in, or if you just want to build with a brother, I am easy to access. You'll never see me front running and thinking I'm better than you. I come from the same place you guys come from. I'm one of you, and I'm proud to be one of you. I'm proud of us as a people that we were able to come out of this and still be of a sound mind. We just got to take it to the next level and unify and be the powerhouse I know that we can be as a people, and be independent of any type of European assistance or assistance from anyone. We are our best friends. We are really our only friends. We are family. And there's nothing that we can't do together, family. Nothing. Whatever you see they have, we could have that and more if we all just work together for the same goal. And with that being said, I want to say peace to the panel, peace to my brother God King Bianchi, peace to Shaka Atmos, peace to brother Reggie, and all those who have helped to develop my mindset to where it is today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, and I owe you a debt that can never be repaid. So I will always be here as long as breath is in my body to support my people, to support the truth, and to get us turned around. Might not happen in our generation, but we're doing this for your grandkids, my grandkids, and future generations down the line. Might not happen with us, but it's going to happen, and we can be secure that our babies is going to come out different and come and have a better life and be more unified. So that's what we do this for. And with that being said, I want to tell you all I love you very much, and I appreciate you all. And please keep building, please keep studying, and please keep developing a critical mindset. Appreciate you all, fam, and see you next time. Hotel.
Peace.
Hotep, my brother, and that's real talk. Like my brother said, a mouthful, and Dr. John Henry Clark said, "We have no friends." And the sooner we
Facts.
realize that, the better off we'll be. Mind you, I didn't say we don't have allies. Like America has no friends, but they have allies that they work with
Facts.
from a diplomacy standpoint. And for those who love white people so much that they don't want to let them go, understand you have no friends either, but you can have allies, and we can use those ally ties from a diplomatic standpoint. But you got to get out of your feelings when it comes to letting them go. And so, if we're gonna move forward in power as a people, we have to become a people. Period.
Facts.
And that's exactly what my brother just said. And so, I want to close out by saying this. This channel is pro-black, not pro a particular ideology, but pro-black people. Because cream don't always rise to the top. And the truth, like a cup of coffee, like anything else, the cream gonna rise to the top and the truth gonna rise to the top. We'll deal with what the truth is once we solidify ourselves as a people. So if it's Hebrew Israelism, if it's Christianity, if it's being Moorish, if it's being the NOI, if it's being Kemet, we'll sort that out amongst ourselves. In the meantime, we need to let these European constructs go so we can move forward in power as a people. That's what this channel all about. That's what we represent on this panel. And if you can't get with it, kick rocks till your toes bleed. As always, I'm your brother, Pianki Patah Muntu Nefer Amun Ra, aka DMG the Poet. And we out, family.
Peace.
Support the channel, family. Peace.